And it was in that period of time I made the decision I would leave the United States. Now, in 1987, if you were, they still do it apparently, I don't know, maybe some of you experienced it, but the Islamic University of Medina would send out their recruiters, usually in pairs. And they were traveling the United States, and they would recruit people to go to Medina. And I was at, this is like in April of '87. So I was, a brother, this group, a pair of recruiters had gone down to IU at Bloomington, Indiana University, and they said, well, there's a brother named Naeem, maybe you should see him, he's the perfect candidate for you. So they came up and interviewed me, these two Saudis and their Lutra and Egal, and they were like very Saudi, big beards and everything, and didn't speak English very well, but they, recruiters. And the first question he asked, ain't Allah, like where is Allah? And I just said, well, that's a good question. Because Allah has something to say about that. And they asked other questions, and they seemed like my answers, and I got accepted to go to Medina. Of course, not surprising. At that time, a lot of people were going to Medina around the world. But I didn't go, obviously. But after this experience, and I was struggling with myself, I had made this decision I'd leave, and so it was probably like spring of 1990. I was still at Purdue, and I was trying to transition out of where I wanted to do. I was getting myself together that I was able to get hold of the educational attaché at the Saudi embassy in Washington. And I said, I'm so-and-so, and I was interviewed from Medina University. I went, could I maybe get myself reinstated? He did it, and I got reinstated, and they issued me a visa, and I got my passport. And I was off. I quit my job at Purdue, and drove to my parents, spent about a couple days with my parents in Indiana, and over in Newcastle. Gave my car to my parents, and I had a backpack, and I went to Medina. And with two intentions. One was to learn Arabic, and the other was to find a spiritual guide. And I became convinced I needed a sheikh. I couldn't do this on my own. I put myself in a corner. I couldn't do things on my own. And I wasn't, all the books I was reading in history that people had teachers, so I needed a teacher. And it wasn't a bunch of engineering students at Purdue. There may have been nice people, but they weren't no teachers. And I figured right in Medina, if they give me a free ticket to go there, and I go to the Mission every day and hang out at the Prophet's Mosque, so I said, I'm sure I'll meet someone, because everyone comes there eventually. It's like a big bus stop. So I went to Medina, and I spent 18 months there, and I met different people. I didn't really care about the Islamic University. I don't recommend you send anyone there to study there, but that's a different issue. Medina was going through that transition of the construction, so there was a lot of construction going on, a lot of Turks who were working on the construction. They came from Germany. The Saudis always have someone else do the work for them all the time, so they had the Turks doing the construction work. And of course I knew some German, and a lot of these Turks came from Germany, so I hung out with some Turks sometime, I spoke to them in German. And I was able to profile Turks, this is he's Black Sea, or maybe he's Anatolian, or he's from the Aegean area. This is something I picked up on. And one day I just was one of those makeshift wudu stations, and there was this man wearing white turban, and definitely was a Turk, definitely probably Black Sea Turk. I went up to him, and he couldn't speak any English, couldn't speak any German, couldn't speak any Arabic. I kept saying different languages, I tried my Arabic, tried my English, tried my German with him, and it didn't work. I kept mentioning Sheikh, so I guess he figured it out. Oh, Sheikh. Any Turks here tonight? Anyway, I'm married a Turk, by the way. My wife's Turkish, so I speak Turkish a lot at home. And so he took me then into the Mission of I went with him, and I met a man, his name is Nuruddin Zengin. He has a gold shop in the Kapalı Çarşı, the Grand Bazaar. And I asked him, I said, my name is Naeem, and do you have a sheikh here with you? And he said, yes. I said, who is he? He said, well, his name is Mahmud Effendi. I said, could I meet him? And they said, sure. And I said, where is he? He's making a ziyarah of the Prophet or something. So we went outside the Mission to the gate there, which is where the minaret is, right next to the Prophet's grave. And I waited there at that door, at that gate, the minaret, and Shaykh Mahmud came out, and the first time I met him, he was a man of short stature. He probably came up to my chest right here, and he's a very beautiful person. And I was wearing this old white thobe that had patches on it because I was a fakir, and you know, I had my turban, and he was spoke to me, and then they were translating also to him in Turkish and who I was, and no, you don't know who this person is unless you know who Mahmud Effendi is, but you can Google him right now. You can find him on YouTube. But if I say if there's one awliyaullah of our age, he's one of them. I don't say that because I'm some type of sycophantic follower of his, but I've never met a person like that in my life that was ever like that. And he took my hand right there next to the grave of the Prophet and walked all the way back to his hotel and spoke with me and said, "Come visit him." So I came and I saw how they did dhikr, and then went back to Turkey, and then he came back for a Hajj, and I met him again, and then on that visit, I spent time with them, and we went to the Baqi, and from the Baqi we were walking by the Masjid Nabawi, and just near the grave of the Prophet outside, we stopped. At that time, his hotel was near the Masjid Abu Bakr Siddiq. That area now has been torn down, but at that time there were other hotels there. And he said to me, "I want to take you to Turkey, but I can't do that. You have to ask Allah for that. So won't you make an istikhara and make it before you sleep? If you have a dream, let me know." So he went back to Turkey, and I started making istikhara whether he should be my spiritual guide. And I had a dream, and I wrote that dream. I sent a letter off to Turkey and went back to America to visit my parents. It was a break time. I got a response. The Sheikh wanted me to come to Turkey immediately. I went back to Medina. This was the fall of 1992, and in my last semester, I was able to get my passport back from the Saudis. I said during our winter break I was going to Syria and Jordan. I was going to go to Syria and Jordan. I didn't tell them I was going to keep going. So I went to the U.S. consulate and visited there. Told them my plans that I'd be traveling. I went to the Syrian consulate, the Jordanian consulate. I got 2 transit visas. I had my backpack. I had some books, a box of books, and I got in a bus to Medina, to Istanbul. So I took a bus in March of 1993 from Medina up through Tabuk, through Damascus, through Jordan, Amman, through Damascus, all the way to Istanbul. About a 2-day bus trip. Had its own interesting events. Got to Istanbul. It was very cold and wet and rainy in March in Istanbul. It was Istanbul was quite different than it is now. Before everyone became he was just at that time just running to be mayor. Now he's of course president of Turkey at that time, who I know in person, by the way, because he's a student of my Sheikh. But don't tell him that. But I got to know him over the years. But anyway, so I got to Turkey, and after I spent a couple of days in a place called Küçükçeşme, which is one of the suburbs. It was sort of impoverished area. I stayed with a student who was also from Medina, who was Turk. I stayed at his home before I went to where I would go to Fatih district and the Çarşamba sub-district, where I would end up living for the next decade. And I got there and met Shaykh Mahmud, and the first thing he said to me after he said "Assalamu alaikum" was, "You're late," and so I'm here, and I was there, and he put me in a madrasa. And of course, at this time, madrasas were illegal in Turkey. These were all illegal, so it was underground studying, so I was doing an illegal thing in Turkey. Of course, they had no foreigners there. It was a very ghetto kind of Turkish community of very religious Turks who had beards, and women wore black, and even face veils. Not the Turkey you see. This is a very special community in Turkey, and it was very traditional. All the men, they really took pride of their Ottoman heritage, and they were all Naqshbandis, and they did dhikr, and they taught. They had Quran classes, and they had women's courses, and it was all illegal, all underground. So I was in this madrasa, and I wasn't so much about that, but it was very, how to rate that. It was an apartment building, and inside it was rooms for students, and I was on the second floor in the kitchenette. It was not a very big room. You couldn't get this table into that kitchenette. I guess it was, maybe I had this much space, literally. That was my space. I guess it was big. I didn't lay down. I guess so. Yeah. That was my room. It was unheated. It was wintertime. It had mice in it. I used to catch the mice. I had bed bugs, fleas. I'd wake up with blood spots on my body, I had a little gas heater that kept me hot. And your boys need to stop that. There's an adult coming. And I was happy. I finally was where I should be. I finally found a place where I should be. And I was very happy in my poverty. And I was happy because I had a sheikh now. I had a place to be, but I didn't know the language. It was Turkish, and it was a strange place for me. After a month of being there, Shaykh Mahmud, I'd seen him before, obviously, after that month, but then Nuruddin came and he said, Shaykh Mahmud wants to see you and give you the initiation bayah, the tariqah. So I went and Shaykh gave my bayah, and I made bayah with him, and I got my first dhikr to do, my first dhikr on the dhikr of the heart, and that began a new phase of my life. So I began to study there in this madrasa system. Brother Ali, he was Syrian, but on the Turkish side of Syria, so he was a Syrian, but when his casualties of World War I, his village was, so Syrian in Turkey. So he would teach me in Arabic. And I didn't really try to learn Turkish. I just wanted to focus on Arabic. And the Sheikh spent a lot of time with me. Though he had thousands of students, he would give me a lot of attention. And over the years, I just continued to study, and other things happened. And that culminated to 2002 when I left Turkey. And then I went to England and back to the States and blah, 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 blah. And I'm sort of here, and that's sort of a nutshell, in a synopsis of my trip, my experience up till today, in a sense of a bit of history. But I don't want to bore you all with that. But anyway, having said that, so what does this have to do with anything at the end of the day? It's like one person's life journey is his life journey. The person can take some notes from it, but that's about it. We all have our own journeys that we're on, and we're making choices as to where those journeys end up at. But many things outside of our control, but many of them are in our control.